All right, so this is section 5, and this is where we turn to start doing the opposite of what we've been doing. We've been taking two sets of parentheses, and we've been multiplying them together and getting a trinomial or whatnot. Now we're going to go the opposite direction. Basically, what this section is asking you to do is it's asking you to reach inside of the cake and pull out the eggs and the flour. Seems impossible. In terms of a cake, it would be fun to try that, but we can do it mathematically. Okay? It's called factoring, and you'll see the form of how they're going to look. The signs are going to change, okay? But there are 4 types that we're going to look at. 4 different types that we are going to deal with. The first one has 2 plus signs. Okay, so this is number 1. This is number 2. This one has a plus sign and a minus sign. Then we have a minus and a plus. This is step number 3, and this is number 4. Now, these 2 have a positive C. And what that means is it means that the signs are the same. Okay. Whenever we have a positive C, the number at the end is by itself. It's the positive number. It means that when we break our parentheses and we put it into our parentheses, both signs will be the same sign. Okay. What sign they are is told to us by the sign in front of the B. So in this case, they're both going to be positives. In this case, they're both going to be negatives. Okay. Now, this doesn't actually go through the process of how to do it, but it's giving us some things that we can determine what the answer is going to look like. Okay. So if we have a positive C, then the B determines what goes inside the parentheses. Okay? Positive C, signs are the same. Now you'll notice in number 3 and 4, the C's are negative. So negative C means the signs are different. Sorry about that, got a phone call. If the C's are, if the C is negative, the signs are different. My phone never rings, ever. No one ever calls me, and then it rings in the middle of a video. Whoops. And if I cared, I would edit this, and you wouldn't have known. But you know, oh well. Okay, signs are different. Just like up here, the B sign told us what goes inside. The B sign here is important. Okay? It tells us that the bigger number gets that sign. Okay? So in this case, the bigger number will go behind the negative sign. Oh my goodness. I know you're thinking to yourself, my goodness, he's popular. No, that's not it. You're thinking, he's so unprofessional. Okay, sure, I'll take that. Right. So the sign is different. The letter or the sign in front of B tells us which one goes where. So here, the bigger number will be behind the negative, and the smaller number will be behind the positive. Here, the bigger number will be behind the positive, and the negative will have a smaller number behind it. Okay? We'll make sense out of this when we start putting some numbers in, but this kind of helps the whole process because we can already have our framework set up as to what is going to happen in our answer. Positive C, the signs are the same. The sign in front of B tells us what it's going to be. Negative C, the signs are different. The sign that belongs to B goes in front of the larger number. Okay, let's put it to use. Okay, so we're factoring x squared plus 8x plus 15, all right? So I'm gonna go down here and I'm going to make my parentheses. The C is the same, and the 8 has a positive, so that tells me that both answers are positive, that both signs are positive, okay? And then I know that I'm gonna get x times x, okay? Now what I have to do is I have to think of two numbers that multiply together to give me 15, but add to give me 8. Okay? So that's the process. The C value is going to be number 1 times number 2. The B value will be number 1 plus number 2. Okay? So that's the process that we're going through. So if we think about this, there are 1 and 15, 3 and 5. Okay? Well, 1 plus 15 is 16. 3 plus 5 is 8. So I can put a 3 in one and a 5 in the other. Now I can very quickly check by foiling it. X times x, x squared. 5x plus 3x, 8x, 3 times 5, 15. Yay, the crowd cheers. Okay? Practice. Okay, now C is positive, now B is negative, so I know I'm going to have two negative signs. So what two numbers multiply together to give me 24? Don't worry about positive or negative, just think about 24. And what gives us 11? So that would be 8 times 3. 8 plus 3. So one of them gets an 8, one of them gets a 3, and then they both get x's. Okay? Foil it, x times x, x squared. Negative 3x, negative 8x, negative 11x, positive 24. Beautiful! Okay, try that one. Now those ones both had positive c's. Now we're looking at negative c. Okay. So what we're going to have is we have different signs. One's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. Okay. Notice the bigger number is going to go right here. Bigger. This one is going to be the smaller number. And I know that by looking at this number. Okay, so what two numbers multiply together to give me 15, but actually subtract to give me 2? So this one's a little different. We're still kind of adding them because one's going to be positive and one's going to be negative. But if we think of it in terms of subtraction, what is the difference between the two factors of 15? It'll help us a little bit because we've already got the signs. We know where the signs go. 5 and 3. 5 minus 3. Okay? So the bigger number is the 5, so it goes back here. The smaller number is the 3, so it goes there. And then I fill it in with x's. Foil it to check. X times x, x squared, minus 3x plus 5x gives us 2x. And then I have positive 5 times negative 3, and I get negative 15. Okay? That one works. Okay? Here's one for you to practice that has to do with that same exact problem. Now this one is the only one up here that has two negatives. Okay? So remember, this one tells us that the signs are different. So I'm going to put a positive and a negative. So I'm going to put the negative right here and the positive here because this number is going to be bigger and this number will be smaller. Okay? I know one's going to be a C, the other one's going to be a C. Now, 21, and I want to get 4 if I subtract them. So 7 times 3. 7 minus 3. Now, this time the bigger number goes in front of the negative, behind the negative. So I'm going to put the 7 here, and I'm going to put the 3 here. So I factor it out very quickly. C times C, C squared. I have negative 7c plus 3c. That's how I get my negative 4c. And then I have them multiply together, and I get negative 21. I apologize, this is going long. Okay, so they're just asking you to factor this. This is a good practice one because this is the same one that we just tried. So I'm going to let you do that one on your own. Okay, and then here are your checks. Look at each one, solve it. Number 4 is a little different because there are 2 variables. Okay, it just means that when we set up the parentheses, we're going to have an a in front, and we're going to have a b and a number behind. Okay, so don't panic when you see the b squared. Just put a b and a b, and then there's going to be a number in front, and that's going to help you figure that one out. All right, thanks for listening. Bye-bye.